Computer networking. What is network? The general meaning of the term network is an interconnected group or system. For example, a group of people, organizations that work together, intersection of roads and railway lines, interconnected chains and branches of schools, universities, banks, hotels, hospitals, and so on, a group of interrelated companies, mobile networks, cable TV networks, a group of radio or television stations linked by wire or radio relay. In present time, we cannot imagine our life without these mentioned networks. Consider the following day-to-day examples to understand the concept of networking. Example 1. Suppose your school principal wants to share an important piece of information with all the students. This can be achieved in two manners: directly communicating with all the students in morning assembly, sending information to each class through class teachers. Here we will discuss the latter method through the given diagram. In this illustration of example 1, observe how the information is transferred from principal to the students. This is how networking works. Example 2. Chetan wishes to buy a new bicycle for himself. In his family, his father handles all the finances. In this case, Chetan has two choices. First, he could directly communicate his message to his father. Second, he could ask his mother to convey his request to his father. Here we have illustrated the latter choice. By now you must have understood the concept of networking in our daily life. In the coming part, you will explore the concept of computer networking and various aspects of it. Computer network. Computer and other devices connected together as a group for the purpose of sharing software and hardware resources, including data and information, is called a computer network. This interconnection can be created through a wire or wireless. These resources can be data files, application software, hardware devices like printer, modem, high-capacity hard disk, and so on. For example, if one computer on the network has a high-capacity hard disk, then the other computers on the same network can store data and other software or programs on this very computer. They need not procure such high-capacity hard disk individually for all their computers. A typical network is shown here. A computer network can be established between two computers or hundreds and thousands of computers. Advantages of computer network. There are several advantages of computer networking which are given here. Cost effective. Large printers and storage devices are very expensive, and using these peripherals on a computer network shares such resources. Hence, reduces the operational and maintenance cost of the organization. Sharing of software. All the required software can be installed on this centrally placed system. All the connected users can access it when required. It saves cost of licensing on each machine. Modification, maintenance, upgradation, and deletion of software is done only at a single point. Fast and efficient communication. Network offers a fast and reliable communication channel among the users. People can communicate efficiently via messages, chat rooms, video conferencing, video calls, and a lot more. It brings more efficiency and effectiveness into the overall working of the system. Backup. Sometimes a computer system within a network might face some technical issues such as hardware failure. Therefore, could not be operated. In such a case, the work could easily be shifted to another computer system within the network. Computer networking helps keeping the backup of data and information preserved on a central location. Security. The server of the organization is fully secured against any kind of unauthorized access. Therefore, the relevant data and files are fully protected and are accessible only to the authorized users. Reducing redundancy. Since people share the same data over a network by storing it centrally, it reduces the redundancy or duplication of data on many computers. Members of an organization can share the soft copy of a document among them rather than distributing hard copies to each individual. Hence, it also eliminates the need of more papers. Easy access to remote database. Computer networking has been proved immensely beneficial in the domain of tourism and traveling agencies because it enables the people to instantly book railway, airline or bus tickets from anywhere and round the clock. Components of computer network. In a computer network, each computer can work as a standalone PC or as a part of a network. When a computer is connected to the network, it is called a node. On a network, one of these nodes becomes a sender of information to the other nodes, which act as receivers. A typical network communication system will have the following. A message. It includes data and information to be exchanged or transferred between a sender and a receiver. A sender. It is a computer, workstation, smartphone, and so on that sends a data message or request to the network through a web browser. Hence, it initiates the communication. A receiver. As the name suggests, it is a computer, workstation, smartphone, and so on that receives the data message or request sent by a sender through a program like a file server. A transmission medium. The message travels between a sender and a receiver through a transmission medium. It is a physical path of communication which connects the sender and the receiver through wired or wireless media. Sometimes it could be a combination of both the wired or wireless media. In computer networking, the terms server and client are commonly associated with sender and receiver. Let us explore these terms in detail. Server. Server is the most important computer on a network which manages access to shared devices and resources. It is a powerful computer possessing high speed and processing capability. It can link and connect many electronic devices together and also provide important network services to its users. Client. Client is a computer or device which is connected to a network to access services from the server. A client is also known as a node. Most often, it is a personal computer. Transmission media. To establish a computer network, computers are required to be connected to each other. This connection can be established through wired media or wireless media. Let us now learn about these types of media in detail. Wired transmission media. A wired network can be established with the help of various types of wires or cables. Some of the commonly used wired transmission media are coaxial cables. Coaxial cable or coax is a type of copper cable specially built with a metal shield and other components engineered to block signal interference. It is primarily used by cable TV companies to connect their satellite antenna facilities. It is also sometimes used by telephone companies to connect central offices to telephone poles near customers. However, initially the computer networks were also established using this cable. This cable offers high bandwidth and greater transmission speed and is also susceptible to electromagnetic disturbances. The only disadvantage using this cable is that it has a high installation and maintenance cost. The two types of coaxial cables are baseband cable. It quickly transmits only one signal at a time for short distances. Broadband cable. It transmits multiple signals at a time and is used for longer distances. Ethernet cables. In a wired network, an Ethernet cable is one of the most widely used network cables. Ethernet cables connect devices such as computers, routers, and switches within a network. An Ethernet cable has 8 wires of different colors and both the ends are connected to the cable connectors called RJ45. An Ethernet cable is plugged into an Ethernet port which is usually located on the back side of a CPU in a desktop computer or on the side of a laptop. Ethernet cables have a maximum distance capacity as to how long it can be stretched before there is a signal loss called attenuation. There are two types of wiring schemes offered for Ethernet cables, which are patch cables These are used to connect a computer to a router or switch. Crossover cables. These cables connect two computers without a switch or hub. The advantage of using Ethernet cables is that these cables consume less power. A limitation with these cables is that a computer must have an Ethernet adapter card in order to connect the Ethernet cable. Optical fiber cables. An optical fiber cable consists of a slim strand of light-conducting glass fiber covered by several layers of protective plastic covers. Optical fiber cables transfer digital data signals in the form of light rather than electronic signals. Hence, it eliminates the problem of any kind of electrical interference. It is capable to transmit signals up to hundreds of miles. It carries data at extremely high speed. With all the advantages, an optical fiber cable also has some limitations, such as it is fragile, therefore demands extreme care during installation. Its installation and maintenance cost is quite high. Wireless transmission media. The wireless network is establishing using Wi-Fi, radio waves, microwaves, Bluetooth, infrared, and so on. In this type of network, data is transmitted without using any wires or cables. Infrared signals. Infrared, or commonly called IR, is a wireless technology that uses infrared waves to connect two electronic devices for communication over short distances. This technology is used in remote controls, cordless phones, and so on. In IR, light-emitting diodes, LEDs, are used to transmit IR signals, which pass through a lens and focus into a beam of IR data. The beam source is rapidly switched on and off for data encoding. The limitations of infrared technology are: it has a short transmission range which covers around 5 meters of area. It is line-of-sight transmission, which means it is unable to penetrate any solid objects such as walls. It connects only two devices at a time. Bluetooth. Bluetooth technology is a short-range wireless communication technology to replace the cables connecting electronic devices. This technology enables a user to have a phone conversation via a wireless headset, to use a wireless mouse and keyboard, to synchronize information from a mobile phone to a PC. Depending upon the Bluetooth version you are using, the transmission can be typically about 10 to 100 meter. All devices which are Bluetooth enabled will have the Bluetooth sign or logo. Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi stands for Wireless Fidelity. This technology uses radio waves to provide high-speed wireless network connectivity. A Wi-Fi connection is established using a wireless adapter in the vicinity of a wireless router. It creates a WLAN, Wireless Local Area Network. The computer should have a wireless adapter that will translate data into a radio signal and transmit it via an antenna to a decoder known as the router. Once decoded, the data will be sent to the internet through a wired Ethernet connection. The advantages of Wi-Fi are: Wi-Fi is compatible with almost every computer, smartphone, gaming device, and advanced printers. Adding a new device to a Wi-Fi network is an easy task. Wi-Fi enables the users to get connected to multiple devices. It is budget-friendly technology since running of cables is not required. It can be installed at places where wired transmission media cannot reach. Disadvantages are: the signals over Wi-Fi cannot travel long distances. The speed of data transmission is slower than wired physical media. It requires additional power resource for the Wi-Fi router. Types of networks. A computer network can be set up inside a room, a building, across cities, countries, or even continents. Depending upon the area covered, geographical boundaries, networks can be classified into the following categories. Personal Area Network (PAN). A personal area network generally covers a range within 10 meters, about 30 feet, organized around an individual person. It can be created via cables, Bluetooth, or infrared rays. When you connect your laptop, printer, or smartphone in your home for sharing music and photo files, you are creating a PAN. Local Area Network (LAN). A LAN is used when two or more computers are connected within a small area, like a house, a school, or an office building. A LAN is a low-cost, high-speed, and secured network. A LAN can cover an area about a few kilometers. LAN can be wired or wireless. A wireless LAN, WLAN, is also known as Local Area Wireless Network, LAN. LANs are owned and controlled by individuals or organizations. Campus Area Network, CAN. A campus area network is a bigger form of a LAN. This network is formed with multiple interconnected LANs in a limited geographical area. This network covers more area than that of the LAN, but within a campus, college, university, office or firm, and is owned by a single organization or individual. Metropolitan Area Network, MAN. A MAN covers larger geographical area than that of LAN. It generally spreads across a city. The maximum range of a MAN can be up to a few hundred kilometers in radius. It is usually formed by interconnecting a number of LANs and individual computers. The most common examples of a MAN are cable television network, branches of a school, a bank, or an office within a city, and so on. Wide Area Network, WAN. A WAN spans over a large geographical area, often a country, a continent, or even the entire world. In this network, computers are connected using a public telecommunication medium such as telephone system, optical fiber cables, microwave radio links, or satellite signals. Internet is an example of a WAN, which is the largest WAN in the world. Another example of WAN is a multinational company having offices in almost all the countries across the globe. Network topology. Layout pattern or method of arranging computers and other peripheral devices to form a network is known as network topology. It specifies the flow of data within a network. Let us now learn about some of the most commonly known network topologies which are described here. Point-to-point (PTP) topology. Point-to-point topology is the simplest model of network architecture. In this topology, two nodes are directly connected to each other. For example, a computer system directly connected to a printer. There's a direct and dedicated connection between the devices, a sender and a receiver. Therefore, it is faster and more reliable. This type of network topology is suitable for small areas since it has a single transmitter and a single receiver. Bus topology. Linear topology. In this topology, each node is directly attached to a central linear cable known as a bus or a trunk. This linear cable is the common communication medium for all the attached nodes and acts as a backbone of the network. This topology is the simplest method to connect multiple users. Bus topology uses Ethernet systems to build the connections. Ring topology. In ring topology, all the devices are connected to each other in a circular shape, forming a loop or a ring. Each node is connected to only two other nodes, one on each side. Hence, in this network, data travels in circular manner from one system to another. In ring topology, data is transmitted only in one direction. The major disadvantage of this type of topology is that if a single system breaks down, the entire network could disrupt. Star topology. In star topology, each node is directly connected to the central node, known as hub or switch, through a separate cable. Hence, more cables are required. This arrangement of attached nodes forms the shape of a star. In star topology, if there is a cable failure, then it would affect only the functioning of a single system, since all the computers are connected through separate cables over the network. In star topology, if the central hub or device fails, then the communication between all the nodes disrupts. It happens because all the data passes through the hub. Mesh topology. In mesh topology, every node on the network is connected to each other through a point-to-point link. In this network, a single computer does not act as a server or central computer. Rather, every node in the network sends its own signals as well as relays data from other nodes too. This network is also known as MeshNet. The installation and maintenance of this network is complex and expensive. Networking devices. The hardware devices that are used to set up a computer network are called networking devices. Some of the important networking devices are discussed in this section. Network Interface Card (NIC). NIC is a hardware device which connects a computer to a network. It also provides a unique physical address known as MAC (Media Access Control) address to each computer connected over the network. There are two types of NICs. Wired NIC. It uses wires to get connected to the network. Wireless NIC. It uses radio frequency for the connection. Modem. Modulator demodulator. To connect to a network like internet, we need to use public networks such as telephone networks. Modem is used to connect computers via telephone lines. A modem modulates the digital data into a telephone-compatible analog signal at sender's side and demodulates the analog signal back into digital signal at receiver's side. Hub and switch. When a network has more than two computers, then we need a central point of connection through which all the computers are connected on a network. In wired networking, this function is performed by a hub or a switch. Hub. Hub is a hardware networking device that is used to connect numerous devices and enable them to exchange data between each other. Each hub has some ports. The number of ports defines how many devices can be connected to it. For example, a hub can have 6, 8, 12, or 28 ports, and so on. Switch. A switch functions similar to that of a hub. However, it is considered more intelligent between the two. A switch checks data packets as they arrive and also determines the data source and destination of each packet. It later transfers them onto the intended computer. Switches are preferred over hubs due to their better efficiency. Repeater. When the signals are transmitted on a wire like coaxial or Ethernet for a long distance, they tend to get weaker and distorted. A repeater is a hardware networking device. It acts as a signal booster which cleans, filters, and retransmits received signals with the same strength or even more power. Bridge. Bridge is a networking device which is used to connect two similar networks. For example, two LANs. The bridge connects the two subnets and manages the traffic flow between them. Router. It is a networking device which is used to connect two or more networks. For example, two LANs or a LAN and a WAN. Routers are very important in controlling the traffic and keeping the network efficient. Gateway. Gateway is a device which connects dissimilar networks. A network gateway joins two networks so the devices on one network can communicate with the devices on another network. A gateway can be implemented completely in software, hardware, or a combination of both. Gateways are also called network protocol converters. Often, the two networks that a gateway joins use different base protocols. The gateway facilitates compatibility between the two protocols. Network terminology. Internet. The Internet, net, is a global wide area network that connects millions of computer systems across the world. It includes several high bandwidth data lines. Intranet. Intranet is defined as a private network of computers within an organization with its own server firewall. Computers connected over this network are not accessible by anyone outside of the intranet. For example, the LAN created in your school computer lab makes an intranet. The information stored in these computers can be accessed only by the school members and none from the outside of this network. Bandwidth. Bandwidth describes the maximum data transfer rate of a network or internet connection. It measures how much data can be sent over a specific connection in a given amount of time. It is measured in BPS, bits or bytes per second, kbps, kilobits or kilobytes per second, or Mbps, megabits or megabytes per second. Internet Service Provider (ISP). An Internet Service Provider is an organization which provides internet connection to users and charges a fee in exchange. Some of the widely used ISPs in India are BSNL, Airtel, Jio, Idea Cellular, and Vodafone. Web page. A web page is a digital page that contains text, images, graphics, videos, audios, and other digital media. These pages are hosted on www, World Wide Web. Web pages are designed in HTML, hypertext markup language, and can be accessed through a web browser. Website. A website is a collection of web pages uploaded on the internet. It generally belongs to an organization, government, or an individual. URL. Uniform Resource Locator. URL refers to the unique address of a website like google.com. To open a website, type its web address or URL in the address bar of the browser. Web portal. A web portal is a specially designed website that often serves as a single point of access for a wide range of information. A web portal brings information from diverse sources like emails, online forums, and search engines together in a uniform way. It can also be considered a library of personalized and categorized content. Homepage. When you open a website, the page which opens as the first page is called the home page. This page contains important information about the organization. It also consists of the links to go to other pages of the same website. Hyperlink. Hyperlink is a technique to join two or more web pages together or one section to another on the same web page. Hyperlink can be text, video, image, and so on. When you move the pointer over a hyperlink, it changes to a hand icon. Hypertext. Hypertext is text displayed on a web page which opens another page. Hypertext documents are interconnected by hyperlinks, which are typically activated by a mouse click. Hypermedia. If the hyperlink is created using image, graphic, video, audio, and so on, other than text, is called hypermedia. IP address. Internet Protocol Address. An IP address, or simply an IP, is a unique address that identifies a device on the internet or a local network. It allows a system to be recognized by other systems connected via the Internet Protocol. An IP address binds the World Wide Web together. An IP address is written in dotted decimal notation, which is 4 sets of numbers separated by a period, each set representing 8-bit number ranging from 0 to 255. An example of IP address is 216.3.128.12. Domain Naming System (DNS). Each resource on the network is assigned an IP address. Therefore, to access any device, IP address will be required. It is difficult to remember all IP addresses. Therefore, a naming system is designed which is known as Domain Naming System (DNS). It is an easier method to recall the resource. For example, 8.8.8.8 is the IP address for google.com. It is easier to remember google.com rather than 8.8.8.8. Domain name generally has www followed by a dot, then the name of the organization, again followed by a dot, and web extension like edu, educational institution, gov, government department, com, commercial organization, in, India, org, organization. Protocols. Protocols refer the set of standard rules and regulations which governs a network. Network protocols are sets of established rules that determine how to format, transmit, and receive data across a network. Hence, computer network devices can communicate regardless of the differences in their underlying infrastructures, designs, or standards. Some of the commonly used Internet protocols are described here. TCP or IP, Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol. TCP or IP is a set of networking protocols that allows two or more computers to communicate on the Internet. TCP or IP can also be used as a communication protocol in a private network, intranet. TCP/IP specifies how data is exchanged over the Internet by providing end-to-end communication that identify how it should be broken into packets, addressed, transmitted, routed, and received at the destination. TCP or IP is designed to make networks reliable with the ability to recover automatically from the failure of any device on the network. TCP defines how applications can create channels of communication across a network. It divides the data into smaller packets before they are transmitted over the Internet. It is also responsible for reassembling the packets when they arrive at the destination address. IP determines how to address and route each packet to make sure it reaches the right destination. Each gateway computer on the network checks this IP address to determine where to forward the message. HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP is a set of rules for transferring files such as text, graphic images, sound, video, and other multimedia files over the World Wide Web. This protocol is designed to transfer HTML pages between a web browser and a web server. This protocol essentially handles the requests or commands sent by a user and defines what necessary actions web browsers and servers must take in response. HTTPS HTTP secure, encrypts or encodes, and decrypts or decodes user HTTP page requests as well as the pages that are returned by the web server. The use of HTTPS protects against eavesdropping, snooping, and man-in-the-middle (MITM) attacks. HTTPS was developed by Netscape. FTP File Transfer Protocol. File Transfer Protocol (FTP) is a standard Internet protocol for transmitting files between computers on the Internet over TCP/IP connections. FTP is a client-server protocol where a client will ask for a file and a local or remote server will provide it. The end-user machine is typically called the local host machine, which is connected via the Internet to the remote host, the second machine running the FTP software. Generally, to access or download a file, user needs to have a login ID and password to access FTP server. Users can work with FTP via a simple command line interface, for example, MS-DOS with command prompt, or with a dedicated graphical user interface (GUI). Web browsers can also serve as FTP clients to download new applications. Using FTP, a client can upload, download, delete, rename, move, and copy files on a server. SMTP Simple Mail Transfer Protocol (SMTP) is one of the most common and popular protocols for email communication over the Internet. SMTP is generally used to send messages from an email client to an email server. IMAP Internet Message Access Protocol and POP Post Office Protocol. IMAP and POP are the two popular protocols to retrieve and access emails. IMAP is the more popular protocol as it allows you to access your email from anywhere and from many devices like a desktop, phone, laptop, and tablet. When you read an email message using IMAP, you are not actually downloading or storing it on your computer. Instead, you are reading it from the email service. Therefore, one can check emails from different devices across the globe. IMAP only downloads a message when you click on it, and attachments are not automatically downloaded. This way, you are able to check your messages a lot more quickly than POP. POP works by contacting your email service and downloading all of your new messages from it. Once they are downloaded onto your PC, they are deleted from the email service. This means that after the email is downloaded, it can only be accessed using the same computer on which they were downloaded. If you try to access your email from a different device, the messages that have been previously downloaded would not be available to you as they have been deleted from the mail server.